The following is a Tony Lasano podcast, an Opie show on the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. This is Free Kicks. You know, Adam, I feel like we shortchange our Spanish listeners because you and I don't speak Spanish, right?
Correct.
We don't often talk about the Mexican League or the Spanish League or anything going on in South America. So this week, as a special treat to our Spanish friends, I wanted to play one clip from Spanish television. Okay, you ready? This is a corner kick with this. This is a very important game. I don't. What are the names of the teams? I don't know the names of the teams. But anyway, it's a corner kick, and it's in Spanish. And you'll see if you can figure out what happens in this clip. And here we go.
Abren esta, cobra Canales, centro que viene, Alisson y atrás, Santiago Ramírez, que ahora se apura porque no hay portero, mete el despeje largo, gol. ¡Golazo! ¡Golazo! ¡De portería a portería!
Yeah, love it. So here's what happened. This is one of the craziest things. All right, so they one team is kicking a corner kick.
Yeah.
The goalie saves it. He jumps out and saves it. That's when they were saying Tor. That's, I believe, how you say the goalie. He gets up and runs to the top of the box and kicks it because the opposing goalie has come in to try to get the head ball. You know, it's the closing seconds of the game. He boots it 100 yards and scores a goal.
Amazing.
Pretty cool.
That's amazing. And the funny thing is, it was the goalie that headed it. He took the shot on the keeper. That was, I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah.
It was actually his header. Yes. So he headed it, and that's why. I think that's why he was so excited. The other goalie got a header in the penalty box, but then he got even more excited when he scored from the goal kick. Yeah, so amazing.
Yeah, I love it. So anyway, that is what is happening in one league that we don't normally cover, but of course, obviously, we do Free Kicks with Adam and Rick, mainly about the Premier League, and we'll get to that in a moment here.
And now, Free Kicks. Free Kicks with Illinois Youth Soccer Association's Director of Coaching, Adam Howarth, and Rick Kemper.
A professional would know what teams the clip is from, but...
Well, yeah. Rick, it's called research, buddy. Research. I don't know if you ever heard about it.
I thought bringing the clip was good enough, but maybe I should have gone the extra mile and figured out who it was.
I'm sure our listeners will let us know. Hopefully they will.
Please do. All right, so you have some breaking news to share with everyone, so let's see if we can cover it.
Yeah, no little jingle, no breaking news jingle. We have to work on that. Okay, all right. So just two quick things, and I'm sure we'll talk about this in a lot more depth. But Ivan Toney, who I was lucky enough to see his first game for England, that might be his last game for England for a little while because he has been banned from football for 8 months following breaches to the football betting rules. So similar to what happened to Kieran Trippier I think it was maybe 2 years ago, where he had been gambling on different things. And so now he's going to be out, and there was over 200 occasions when he had done this. So it's not good. Not a good situation.
Yeah,
going back to Kieran.
We talked about that a few weeks ago when we had him as our Premier Player of the Week. Again, the curse of the free kicks sets in.
Yeah, so he's going to be obviously sitting around for a little while, so we're not sure what the future holds for him. And then the other big news, certainly from a U.S. standpoint, and we're really excited from a U.S. men's national team. It was a tough one because obviously England and U.S., both obviously big fans of both countries. But Folarin Balogun, hopefully I said it correctly. I'm sure I'll probably be corrected down the road. But Balogun, He created his own hype video, sent it out, and it was really exciting because he has now announced that he is going to be playing with the U.S. men's national team. Now, why is this exciting? Well, first of all, we need a striker. Yeah. He's a striker. He is currently the leading goal scorer in the French league with 19 goals in 34 matches.
And there are some, if I'm not mistaken, there are a few pretty high-profile goal scorers in that league.
Exactly right. I mean, think about it. Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's a bad team, and we got Neymar and Messi playing in that league, for goodness sake. So this is so exciting. I think this is definitely going to influence down the road what potentially could happen to the U.S. men's national team. Maybe now in the next World Cup, we're going to finally have our striker that we can rely on to put some balls in the back of the net. So, this is a big one. He's on loan from Arsenal to Reims in France. And we'll see if he ends up going back to Arsenal. But obviously, Arsenal's got some good strikers themselves. But this is big. This is a big one. So hopefully,
do you think he chose that? Sorry to interrupt. Do you think he chose the U.S. because there were so many strikers ahead of him on the English team?
That's a good point. I wouldn't be surprised. That probably had something of a factor. When you look at all of the players in front of him, I mean, you've got obviously Harry Kane. He's not going anywhere.
Right.
I mean, realistically, nobody else is really going to be getting a game in front of him. You've got also Calvin Lewin as well. You've got Watkins from Villa. You've got, you had Tony as well in that mix. So, you've got lots. Callum Wilson, exactly. You've got lots of players there that he's probably thinking, might be a little while before I get to play a fair bit. So, but with the national team, U.S. men's national team, got a great chance to play right away. So, I think it probably had a factor. But, he's now playing. He's now declared his allegiance to the U.S. So, exciting stuff.
It reminds me of when I first moved here to the United States in my senior year of high school. I went to try out for the soccer team. I talked to the coach, and the coach said, well, you can't just walk in here as a senior and get on the team. I said, I'm sorry, I just moved here from Germany. He said, you're on the team. And that's what's going to happen with him, with the U.S. national team.
Exactly. And then the second part of the story, when they saw you play, they're like, oh, man.
Well, we don't really need to get into that part.
That happens to me. It happens the same thing to me. Oh, you're from England. You're on the team in college. Oh, yeah. You must be one of those poorer English players. Yeah, exactly.
What are you, from the north of England?
Exactly.
All right. Well, let's talk about the Champions League because they're down to 2 teams, and finally the dragon has been slayed. The Real Madrid is down.
Yeah.
And it took this was the 3rd English team to try to get them out of there, and this one, Manchester City, did it. And in convincing style yesterday.
They were unstoppable, magical, couldn't deal with it. I mean, it was basically one team just absolutely destroying another team. I've never seen anything like it. And we've seen Man City do this to many teams.
Right.
But I think somebody said this best on the commentary. You don't do this to Real Madrid. And that's exactly what they did. Real Madrid, obviously, massive team, got lots of experience, lots of class. Man City made them look pretty average. They really did, and scored 4 goals and ended up going through 5-1 on aggregate. So, and that's still without Erling Haaland scoring a goal. That's how good they are. And, they are definitely, as you mentioned, overwhelming favorites to win the final against Inter, for sure.
Do you know what the odds are? I bet there's never been a team more favored than Manchester City is in this game. We'll have to check that out. But, again, research, Rick. Research. Before you ask the question, know the answer to the question.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. So I'm learning. I'm learning today on this game, on this podcast. All right. We still have, I think really that's all we need to say. Champions League is Inter Milan against Manchester City.
Yeah. And like you said, I mean, overwhelming favorites. I mean, it was interesting in the research that I did when I was looking over stuff. I didn't realize Inter had actually won it 3 times. So they've actually won the Champions League 3 times. Back in the 60s, they won it a couple of times. Back in 2010, they won it as well. I don't even remember that. I think they beat a German team, Bayern Munich.
I remember. I remember it. Yeah.
So, so I think that was Jose Mourinho the manager then?
Probably.
Yeah, probably was. Yeah. So, but what a great opportunity for Manchester City. I mean, this is it. Obviously, they're now geared towards this treble that they have now. So there's this possibility of the FA Cup and now the Champions League. And
but this is the one they want the most.
Oh, no question. This is the one, exactly. They've never won it before.
Never.
They've obviously lost in the final. I was a bit taken aback by your notes beforehand, which said, "This is the," and I will quote, "This is probably the easiest final matchup since their own matchup against Chelsea a few years ago." Is this just a subjective point of view on your point?
I know. I believe the experts said that.
Okay, the experts. Okay. Yeah. Just as a reminder, who ended up winning that game?
Is that important? Is that important?
I just wanted to make that point. I was very taken aback. I almost called and said, "I'm not doing it this week." That's basically what I did.
That's always my goal, because as you make this show earlier and earlier, we're taping this at 8 o'clock in the morning right now.
That was it. That was why I did that. I said, "Let's do it. Let's get him up early," just because of that particular quote. And if you want this to be the Free Kicks with Rick show, you're moving in the right direction.
No, because then I'll have to do research. Clearly, I'm not doing that. All right.
That's true.
It's time to talk about the Premier League. Let's do that.
Premier League football. What's happening on the pitch?
So we talked about the Champions League. We talked about the fact that Man City is looking like they're going to win that one.
Yeah.
And by the way, you mentioned the FA Cup. They're playing against Manchester United in the FA Cup. That could be a fun game. But again, they've got to be highly favored in that game. Don't you believe?
Definitely, yeah. And the interesting thing is, so we've got quite a few weeks. What's kind of nice is it's spread out. So the Champions League final, normally we're so used to watching it during, the Donnerschwaben, for example. It's actually June 10th this year. The FA Cup is June 3rd. And then we've got the last weekend of the Premier League next week, so we'll be watching it while we're at the Donnerschwaben tournament. So that's kind of exciting.
Yeah, that is. So we talked about the fact that they're highly favored in those other two. This one for the Premier League, they basically have this already. Arsenal choked against Brighton. They lost 3-0, I believe. Essentially ended their chances of winning. As we tape this, by the time this comes out, they may have already lost the league, right? Or are they playing on Saturday?
Yeah, so, looking at the schedule, basically what's going to happen is Arsenal plays Saturday, Man City plays Sunday.
Right.
So we'll know. I mean, obviously that might be a little bit of a clue as to the TV tips, potentially. Right. But Saturday and Sunday we need to watch carefully. Arsenal plays first on the Saturday.
Okay.
For sure.
All right. Now, so it looks like Man City's going to win. Looks like Arsenal's going to finish in second. But there is really a battle brewing suddenly for the third, fourth, and fifth slots.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, Liverpool has won 7 in a row. And so let's talk about the race for third and fourth, because we're looking over some of the games that are coming up. We're talking about Newcastle, Manchester United, and Liverpool.
Yeah.
And here's who they're going to be facing. I'll throw it out there. You tell me who you think has the the lead.
Sure.
All right. So the last 2 games for Liverpool are Aston Villa and Southampton. Manchester United still has Bournemouth, Fulham, and Chelsea. All right, and Newcastle, I think, is tied with Manchester United at this time as we're taping this. But they're going to play, I think, before we. Aren't they playing today?
They're playing today, yeah, Thursday.
Yeah.
They play Brighton today, which would be a big game, yeah.
All right, so let's not get into the Newcastle. But what between Liverpool and Manchester United? What are your thoughts?
It's a tough one. I mean, obviously you've got, with Liverpool, you got to feel fairly confident. Obviously, they're probably going to beat Southampton.
Yeah.
You would think that. Villa is still fighting to get into Europe, so that's going to be a tougher game.
And Villa seems to have Liverpool's number.
Yeah, they've certainly done that recently. Yeah. And then so for Man United, you've got, you said Fulham and Chelsea. What was the other one?
Bournemouth.
Did you say was that?
Yeah.
Bournemouth.
So
yeah.
they have
probably Bournemouth. Yeah,
they have a game in hand too. Manchester United has a game in hand, so that's a big advantage.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Chelsea game's going to be probably the tougher of the three.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Chelsea fan, but obviously it's going to be a little bit tougher just because of their rivalry.
Right.
And Fulham have been a bit inconsistent lately. They've won a couple, lost a few. It's a tough one. It's a really tough one. I think Man United, I think it's definitely in their hands because of the game in hand.
Yeah.
And the same thing with Newcastle. They have a game in hand. So if I can't see Liverpool jumping up, but you never know.
Right.
You just never know. Liverpool has to win both games, in my opinion. If they don't, then it's done and dusted. So I think the Villa game's going to be key for them.
Okay, and that's coming up this weekend.
Yeah.
All right, so then let's talk about the relegation battle. Everton has managed to squeak out of the bottom three as we tape this. Which is a good thing. I mean, I kept hearing people say it's been so long since Everton has been relegated from the top flight. I looked it up. 1951. That's how long they've been in the top flight.
That's right.
That's amazing. It's the longest streak in all of English football. And their last two games are against Wolves and Bournemouth, and I think they have a chance in both of those games. I have a feeling that Everton is going to be okay.
I think so too. I think you're right. But again, you just never know. I mean, the Wolves game, Wolves have been so inconsistent.
Yep, you never know what team's going to show up.
Winning. Yeah, they destroyed Brighton, and then obviously Brighton last week beats Arsenal, so you just never know what's going to happen. Yeah. But I think Everton, with the way the games are set up, they've got every chance to stay up. What may end up happening, depending on how everything works out, and Nottingham Forest might get pulled in if Leeds United gets some results.
Yeah.
I think that's basically it. Obviously, we know that Southampton's down. They've already been relegated. Yep. Leicester City, they have to win both to stay up, really, to get any chance. And Leeds United's got that one and more point, which gives them a better chance. But interesting with Leicester, if they do win, they do have a better goal differential than anybody else, right, in terms of the bottom five. But they're just so out of form right now.
And they face Newcastle and West Ham as their last two games. So, I mean, that's going to be tough for them. Yeah,
I agree. But, I think it's really down to Notts Forest, Everton, and Leeds. If Notts Forest don't do well in their last two games, they could get pulled out, and they may end up getting in. So, but it's going to be very exciting. It's going to come down to the wire. There's no question.
Yeah, and Nottingham Forest's last two games are Arsenal and Crystal Palace.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, and Leeds plays West Ham and Tottenham. So, I mean, none of these teams, they all have difficult games. So, anything can happen.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing we know, you mentioned it, we know for sure that Southampton is down. And I was watching that game, and I saw afterwards they were interviewing James Ward-Prowse, who, he's my guy. I like that name. And he's, one of the best free kick specialists in the league, and this show is called Free Kicks, right? What is going to happen to him? I mean, he's been with that team since he was 8 years old. But they asked him after the game, where are you going to be next year? And he didn't he didn't have an answer, which means he's not staying.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I think for his own development, his continued development, he's obviously a player.
Oh, Adam?
Ladies and gentlemen, we are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by. We will return to our regularly scheduled program momentarily. Please stay tuned. We expect to resume normal broadcasting shortly. Be sure to stay tuned for Jeopardy!
Okay, here's what happened, everyone. If you're tuning in and you're wondering why Adam's voice is going to sound different, we normally record this show on FaceTime audio, and for some reason the internet just went down in the middle of a sentence of Adam's, and so now we're going to finish the show on the phone. Is that okay with you, Adam?
Perfectly fine.
Yeah, actually, it sounds fine. It sounds fine to me.
All right, good. We'll see how it comes out.
Okay, we were talking about James Ward-Prowse, and we're trying to decide where he's going to go.
Yeah.
Do you have any opinions on that?
Yeah, obviously he's not going to stay at Southampton in the Championship. I think one team that's looking at him is Newcastle. That might be a team that he has an interest in, which might be interesting because he might be fighting with Kieran Trippier to take all the free kicks.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that would work out. But I know Newcastle is very interested. Tottenham has also expressed some interest as well. But yeah, he's definitely going to go to one of those clubs. I think it's going to be like a top 6, top 7 club, where he can probably be a big part of that team and be able to play a little bit more. But it's only going to help his opportunities to play for England in upcoming Euro Championships or World Cups. And so he has to really move on, I would think.
This could actually be a good thing for him in the long run, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I think so. I think for his own individual development, absolutely. He can't. And Southampton's going to have to do a lot of regrouping. It might be a few years before they come back. That's for sure.
Okay. Free Kicks is brought to you by the Illinois Youth Soccer Association.
Illinois Youth Soccer has been proudly serving the Illinois soccer community since 1975. Illinois Youth Soccer is a nonprofit corporation, official state association, and charter member of the U.S. Soccer Federation, administers U.S. Soccer Federation coaching programs, the Olympic Development Program, and U.S. Soccer Federation referee programs. For more information, go to illinoisyouthsoccer.org.
Okay, time for your favorite feature.
Time now to guess the Premier League star.
Okay, this one I think you're going to get. All right, It shouldn't take you too long because he's somebody who's been around forever. He's 32 years old.
Okay.
And I'll give you a big hint to start it off with. He attended grade school at Bertolt Brecht Schule.
Oh, yeah, of course. What the heck did you just say?
Bertolt Brecht Schule. That's the school he went to.
Okay.
Which, as you might guess, is in Germany. So that's the big hint. All right.
All right. So do you think if I guess this right now, you'd be impressed?
I would be.
All right. So I'm going to go with a guess here. Just because I know the way you think, and I think I know why you picked him, because he's had a pretty good week, I would say, overall, in terms of what he's done. But I would say, and I think this would probably be fair to say that this would be the person that's probably had the biggest influence on their team. But would it be Gundogan?
Wow.
There you go.
I'm very impressed. I didn't even tell you that he was born in Gelsenkirchen, the home of Schalke. Wow. Yep. Yes, that's the guy.
Ike Gundogan, yes, the captain of Manchester City. He could be lifting up the trophy in a few weeks' time. That's for sure.
He could be lifting up several trophies in a few weeks' time.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So every now and then you got to have an easy one, right?
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
You feel better.
And when you said did you say his school? I knew his place of birth is Gelsenkirchen, so I knew that.
Bertolt Brecht Schule.
As soon as you said that, I was like, got it. Had it right away. Try and make it easier for me. Come on.
You've been a big fan of that school for years. That's your favorite school.
Absolutely.
All right, it's time for this.
Now time for Adam's Weekend Soccer TV Tip.
Okay, things heating up. Lots of possibilities. What are we going to watch?
Whew, wow. I mean, it's getting down to the wire, isn't it? There's so many good games. I mean, that's the tough thing about it when you look at it. But I've got a few here. And I think when you look at the games, I think it's really going to determine that in terms of the league itself, we have to be conscious of Saturday, 11:30, Forest versus Arsenal. If Arsenal do not win, basically the title is going to go to Manchester City. They win it.
Right.
And then so Saturday, got to watch that Forest.
They better win that, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
If
otherwise the title's over.
Yeah, they don't deserve to be in there.
Yeah, exactly. But Forest, they're fighting for their lives as well. That's what's great about it. It's going to mean something. So, and then obviously, if depending on what happens there, you've got to watch the Man City Chelsea game, which is on the Sunday at 10 a.m. But if I'm looking at one game, which I think is going to be a really big one, and it's for those Leeds fans, I think this is going to be a good one. And I think you're going to have to get up and watch this one. 7:30 kickoff, Sunday, May 21st. So this is going to be before Manchester City either are champs or not champs.
Yeah.
West Ham versus Leeds. I think that's going to be a really good game because it's going to really dictate whether or not Leeds potentially stays up.
Right.
If they get a result, that could push Everton down. I mean, there's so many things. I mean, there's just so many good games now. I mean, that's the thing. It's going to be so much fun. So I would definitely point that one out for the relegation battle, and then the two games: Forest, Arsenal, Man City, Chelsea. So
okay,
just watch every game. Just watch them all from now on. Let's be honest. It's not a bad game.
I think I probably will anyway, except for that 7:30 game. All right. Free Kicks is brought to you by Green White Soccer Club. Green White has been around for nearly 70 years. And one of the things that Green White does is this tournament. And you mentioned it earlier. We call it the Donnerschwaben tournament. The Donnerschwaben is the type of German that the Green White Club was founded by. And there are national clubs. There are clubs all across the country. There's a club in Philadelphia, Detroit, Milwaukee, Cleveland. There's one in Los Angeles, St. Louis. And they all come to one location every year over Memorial Day for this national Donnerschwaben tournament. And this year, it is at Green White at our fields. So if you have nothing going on Memorial Day weekend and you want to come out and watch some soccer, we've got a beer truck out there. We make our own food. We're making goulash and sausages, and the sausages are world famous for
the best.
Yeah,
the best.
So come on out and check it out. greenwhitesoccer.org if you want more information. Special thanks to our executive producer, Tony Lasana with opishows.com. Opie is hippo backwards, OPPIH shows.com. We're distributed by Ed Silla with Radio Misfits. Great Talk Radio isn't dead. It just moved to a better place, RadioMisfits.com. And we'll be back again next week with a brand new episode of Free Kicks. The preceding was a presentation of Opie Productions. Find our other great shows wherever you find podcasts, including opishows.com. Thank you.
This has been a presentation of Opie Productions.
Tony, can you shut up?